Greetings. Test, test, test. Now I can hear myself too. Test, test. Just changing some things here. There we go. Yeah, just doing a quick live of my impressions from JPEGMAFIA's new album, experimental rap. And I really wondered what the genre was going to be for this album. No. Uh, so, yeah, a little background here. My son's into rap. Uh, he got me to appreciate a lot of it, and I've studied it. I actually, for fun, made a couple rap albums uh, through. I'm a big Prince fan, so through like funk and experimenting like that, entering that way. I'm not, a gangsta rapper. Um, and JPEG Mafia, I see him as maybe the future of not just rap, but artists. He is he he does everything himself. He writes the songs, he performs them, he produces the albums and mixes them. Now I think he did get some help on this one with an engineer. But yeah, he's helped Kanye West uh, with mixing, and the guy is just really fascinating. And he would go when he started. Google him. You could see on YouTube even one of his first performances in a bowling alley with 12 people watching. Oh, barely watching, more interested in their food at the bowling alley. And he's out of breath after like 5 minutes. He just put so much energy into it. Uh, and he didn't have a band, he didn't have a DJ. He just had his phone and yeah, hi Scribbles. uh, a laptop, and would have his music on there like karaoke almost, and sang it. And I'm a musician. Hi, but I'm 51, but I'm also still crazy. And it's hard to get a band together. I'm just thinking, and people are so disconnected and only connected so much um, through the internet. But if you want to go out there and you can't get a band together, or your stuff's too weird, people, they didn't want his raps. They didn't understand his rap. He couldn't get a group together. No one would help him. He did it himself. I think that I want to, start with that. I think that is an artistic spirit missing today that JPEG has. Now, me and my son, mainly because of me, started it. We got obsessed with his last album, I Lay Down My Life for You. We have like a 45-minute drive to one of his tennis coaches, and early morning, and we would pop that in, and it was just like, it's 7 a.m., or no, 8 a.m., and kind of dark, uh, gray sky, Australia in the winter, and blasting I Lay Down My Life for You album. And he's like, "Oh, Minions." Dum, 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 dum. He was getting into it and he liked it. There's several songs in there he skips. He doesn't like. He's 14, but he helps me enter the younger world of music. And I'll just say this, I have not gone to a concert in 20, 30 years like that. I've gone to symphonies and things like that, but a concert, no. And I think I've got a clip of I JPEG went to Australia, went to Melbourne, and I went to the club. I bought tickets. My son couldn't go. He's too young. And I hadn't been to a club for, yeah, First Amendment is great. And what's the one? Emmett, I've got it here. Emmett, the black boy who got tortured to death in the South. Um, Shoot, I've got it right in front of me. Where is that? That that was good too, and it just reminds you of, you know, black artists and freedom and all of that. And I had heard that name, but yeah, Emmett Till, The Ghost of Emmett Till, The Ghost of Emmett Till. That's interesting. I'll get to the album in a minute. I'm just giving some background, but I went to the club and I'm up front, and I'm like, okay, I just want to be up front, and I'm gonna get some cool pictures of Peggy, and I'm like, there's a couple older guys, but it's like maybe 300 young people, and it's a long for me, it's a long wait, but the the show happens, and, but before the show happens, one of the bouncers looks at me because 'cause I'm older and I'm right in the front, and he goes gives me that, like, "You're a badass." I'm like, "Why? I'm just here for a concert." I didn't know. I didn't know. I was in a mosh pit. I lasted maybe I'm gonna say 20 minutes, maybe it was 15. Um, I was elbowed in the 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 was it the jaw or the back of the head? Um, there's this l poor little Asian girl, right in front of me, and I am slammed, and I smash her into the grid, the metal grate. I mean, I'm getting it's not violent, it's not harmful. They're just going wild and moving, and you're smashed in there. I'm getting stepped on, stomped on, s accidentally hit in the face, you know? I hope it was accidental. But at the same time, people are offering me bottles of water. I'm like, after COVID, um, the the water is obviously traced with Molly. Um, they're going wild. They're young. Have fun. You should do it. I got the hell out of the mosh pit. Um, and I enjoyed it, and it was fun, and the music was great. It sounded great, and the show was fun. Uh, Peggy is so charming, and um, yeah, I enjoyed it. Would I go back? Maybe in a couple years when my son's old enough, maybe. I don't know. But I was kind of also just like, it just goes on and on with the pounding music, and it's even, it's super intense. So I hadn't gone to a concert in, like I said, at least like 20 years, 30 years. I don't know. And now it's not 30 years, maybe 25. I'm 51, so concerts, I was never much into live music. I always liked what was created for the CDs, as we used to say, the actual, like, okay, you have full control, this is your art. And I just like albums more than live. Um, I d Yeah, they're okay. It's a big process, getting over that. I don't like hanging out with people. I think Axl Rose is the same way. He prefers, he doesn't like live shows, and that was like, okay, great. So anyway, I just wanted to show how much I appreciate and enjoy and love the music of JPEG Mafia and his style and what he's doing. So after after I laid down my life for you, he did a he did a few little singles with people, but he did a little EP collab with an Australian. I think while he was here for that show, he must have met up with him. What's his name? Flu, flu, shoot. It's it's not Flood, is it? Anyway, the EP honestly sucked. It was bad in my, it was not very good. But I kind of felt like he wanted it to be bad. I kind of felt like it was just sort of he had this album that I'll talk about in a minute. Experimental rap. That's the real thing. And this was just sort of, I don't know, just keeping his name out there a bit. Fun for 5 minutes. I don't know. I don't think it's a very good EP. But anyway, so that's the background that I know of to share. So I've listened to this album twice now in the car. And at first we were like, God, with these director cuts and these 3 hour long um, re-released albums and this and that, because it is 25 tracks. That seems like a lot. But now that the album's been revealed, a lot of these songs are under 2 minutes, a lot of them. And some are like 45 seconds. So, yeah, we're in the TikTok era. Shorter is better. We're back to those Beatles, 1 minute, 40-second songs. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, is there anything even over? There's one that's just over 3 minutes. Boy, 3 minutes and 3 seconds. That's the longest song. The rest are, TikTok ready, basically, which is, yeah, what they do. And you make a lot of the songs, but they're very short. So, what's my impression? I was af- listening to just the three singles that came out before this release yesterday. I was like, it kind of just sounded like the same as I Lay Down My Life for You. Very similar. I guess I was kind of mm, expecting a huge shift, a big change. Like, whoa, the style is completely different. This, if you ask me, is a continuation of the last album, very much so, with some key. It's the differences you can notice. It's not like you could take these songs and just plop all of them from 2 years ago onto "I Lay Down My Life for You." Um, I mean, I can see an argument for that, but as I'm learning more and more about production and enjoying mixing and some of the tricks of the trade, what I can really tell you is that this is a much punchier, cleaner album in terms of production. And I think part of that is from the I think there's less samples, but um for whatever reason, I'm not saying the other album was muddy or bad or anything. All that mess you want in experimental rap. But this one is much more cleaner to my ears anyway. Uh, Tell me what you think in the comments. I appreciated that because you can, oh, I'm experimental. I'll make a big mess. There's restraint here and a clarity, very much in a American. I don't know if he used like sort of API styled plugins or what, but they have a very clear, in your face, bright but smooth punching feel, and I kind of felt that, like that API style. It's a it's a kind of process used in mixing that is as opposed to like a warm British console, like from Abbey Road or something, much more rock oriented. Now, going back to the rock aspect and the last album, there's guitar in this, um, but again, I do think it's cleaner. I do think it's cleaner overall. Okay, this is a more serious. Not I don't want to say serious, less playful, but more cohesive to me. I've only listened to it twice now, but I think he's more about in this one h- getting to the message and going with it, as opposed to having to or really using crazy um, experimental loops and things like that. He calls this experimental rap, but ironically, I think his previous album was much more experimental. And I'm fine with that. It's still, outsider rap. It's still alternative experimental rap with heavy, heavy influences from um, rock. And I learned a new word, hyper pop. Now I'm gonna have to look up these hyper pop artists. I guess they're, mixing industrial rock with poppy melodies. Sounds fascinating. But even though those elements are here, I don't think it's as experimental as the other. What I like about that is a consistency, and you know what? There's not any songs here I don't force I don't see skipping. Um, there's some songs on I Lay Down My Life for You, especially the director's cut. Some of them I sonically just I can't listen to it. Um, what's that one, guys, that when the album was originally released, it was just yeah, what's my rating on it? Out of 5? 5 being a classic? Hmm. Well, I would give, I Lay Down My Life for You, I will give that, I'd I'd give that a 5, if let's say. This one, honestly, I'd give a 4, 4.25, whatever. Why? It's not as memorable to me. It's not like, when I Lay Down My Life for You came out, some of those songs I mean, what was it, I Think You Went Down. I Think You Went Down. I mean, these it's like these off the wall, out of place, pieces that somehow coordinated and just not just came together in a cool way, but hit, and you remember it, and it's like, "This is an event. This is a thing." Um, I don't know if he it's not fair to ask an artist to be able to be that brilliant every time. So, hey, a 4 out of 5 is amazing. And I wouldn't normally do that. That's still pretty good from looking online. A lot of people dislike it a bit more. Yeah, I guess what I really like about it is, for me, the production. I feel that he's produced this better. I think the other was sloppy, but in a good way. Uh, he's admitted he didn't spend much time on it. I feel there's more time spent on this production, and that the production didn't suffer for like it wasn't like he's overthinking it. He actually made it clean and cohesive and powerful. I feel these songs sound better than I Lay Down My Life for You. They sonically, they're I think they're better. Um, in terms of that excitement, uh, I guess because this to me almost is like a I Lay Down My Life for You part 2. Okay, and my criticism, and it's not my only one. I've heard some other people, they're much more, oh, there's a father and son, African American, uh, father and son program, and they review albums. I forget the name of their channel, but they started to imitate JPEG Mafia's flow. Like because I'm not, rap is not my strong suit in terms of, I don't have a strong background in it. But I like good country, I like good rock, and I like good rap, and this is good rap. JPEG Mafia is awesome. But they noticed sometimes falling back into the same flows, it's kind of the same patterns. And once they noticed it, I started noticing it. And I have noticed he he's not as creative in that as a rapper. He does kind of fall back, and you go, "Oh, this is like this. This is like that one from 2 albums ago." So yeah, why do people? Yeah, I haven't seen all. This just came out, but why are people disliking it? if you're still here. Creepy. Does anything stand out? I like Baby Girl. Um, what was that one someone mentioned? Yeah, The Ghost of Emmett Till. I think that's quite powerful. Someone mentioned the other, yeah, the First Amendment. Yeah, I that's the second to last thing. I do think that's strong. Hmm. So yeah, overall, you know, around a 4 out of 5. If I lay down my life for you is 5 out of 5, I'd have to give this 4 out of 5, as I've mentioned. Why? Mm. Yeah, flows repeat occasionally. I'm not sure just from looking online, the reviews are worse. Yeah, it just came out. I think people were a little disappointed when you get those singles that came out. It didn't hit like that one. I heard you went down. What is that called? He's got the crazy titles that don't match. That was such a statement, and that's like, Jesus, I can't wait to see this. These singles, as solid as they are, I don't think they were. Here's the thing, when you set yourself up, par- experimental is new and fresh, right? You kind of can paint yourself into a corner and limit yourself in a way where you're expected to do something. Okay, I'll jump this. What are you, a performing dolphin performing for fish? Oh no, I'll try this. uh I almost hope that he just stops caring if it's experimental or not, and just is JPEG Mafia, you know? And it could be totally, pop, or go make a full rock album, but with some, samples or some, I don't care if he does rap. I don't care if he does country. I think he is an artist that, and a performer, and has, you know, I think deserves a lot more fame and attention. I personally think he had the best album, um, of 2025. Was it 2025 or 2024? Anyway, I Lay Down My Life For You. I think that was the best album. In fact, I would put it up there as one of the best in the last 10 years, which isn't saying much probably. So maybe the last 20 years, to be honest. Imagine he does a country rock mix album. That would be crazy. And I think he could. I really think, why not? And today, I think people are, you know what, though? And I've noticed this, and I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to overstep, respect, blah, blah, blah. Just the guitars alone on I Laid My Life Down For You, just that there were guitars there are blowing the minds of people, aficionados of rap, people who are into the hip hop. Ooh, it's almost like they've become so stale, like they're here. I will tell a true story here. Um, I I am an artist, and I was interested in rap, and I made rap. I'm a white 51-year-old. How do you do that? Well, my entryway is I like Prince, funk, but also the Beastie Boys kind of have a little comedic edge with a lot of heavy rock influences, because that's my background. So I made a song that I really liked, based on a loop from a 1970s funk band. There was this trashy, rough guitar. There was some awesome 70s black rock funk guys. There's albums you can look at. Anyway, I kind of, well, yeah, I stole that loop, and then I redid it and made it a little different myself, because I get really nervous about, not that anybody cares or hears my stuff. I just don't like samples. I like to make my own things. So, what kind of a rapper would I be anyway? But anyway, there's a guy on YouTube and he's like a rap coach and he evaluates things and I'm like, "Well, I'm just curious what this guy I bet I'm going to blow them away with this." And I'm playing it, they cut it off because there's guitars in it. Um They're mocking me. They're like, "No, here's what he thinks rap is," and he starts playing AC/DC, and I'm just like, "You know how small-minded that is?" It's flipped, like, rap was seen as garbage, just the whole thing, you're stealing other people's stuff, um, but now it's been around for so long, it's become, stale too. It's got its own rules, and part of what I like about JPEG is he undermines those rules, he surprises people, but to be honest, it's not that hard to surprise these people. Um, just like, a country music fan hearing, maybe an electric drum. They do that now, country music is now the rock music, pop rock of, 20 years ago. These so-called purists that, have their little rules. Art doesn't have rules, really. It's just that your own limits, Go listen to, noise music. Um, Marsbo, he's a Japanese artist. There's a lot of listen to the whole album. It's drones and blasts of electronic digital feedback and just pure noise. And someone said, "Well, anybody can do that." And the artist said, "That's kind of the point of this." So, when you can accustom your ears and appreciate noise music, I mean, to be honest, experimental rap, I it's still following a form. It's got choruses, verses, it's got melody. There's instances of glitch of but then it goes back into a beat. If you want real experimental music, noise music, I don't know what more you can do. I guess just, the real atonal, uh, was it Philip Glass stuff, but that's very intellectual, like, 5 minutes of silence and all that, whatever. But yeah, what I'm saying is, for experimental as it is, it's still not, it still follows a form. So, yeah, I think overall, great album, but maybe this title, experimental rap, is the period at the end of JPEG Mafia's sentence for this, and he can be really experimental and just let it all go with no bounds, It's almost like, "Oh, I've got to have an 808. If I have a guitar, I've gotta put some rap element in it." I am a rapper, by the way, anyway. Well, don't you're not a rapper. Be an artist. So I had a professor in art school, they're like, "Brad, just stop worrying about being a painter. That's secondary. Be an artist." So I s I think that that would be growth for him, would be to on the next I think, have this be even though it's not that experimental itself, I think that kinda says something also. What more can you do? Go into the realm of noise music? 40 minutes of glitch. I maybe he should do that for one album, for an EP or something. It would have been better than that Flood EP crap I think they did. Anyway, thanks for joining me, those that came through. Um, I like this album. I'm going to listen to it a few more times with intent. And, you know, will it be will it be as classic to me as I Lay Down My Life for You? Probably not, but the production's really good. There's no skippable stuff on here, in my opinion, that I've noticed, and maybe it's the end of the whole need to still conform to being I'm a rapper. I think maybe JPEG should just let it all effing go. I'm an artist and do whatever the hell he wants and really shake things up. That's it for now. Thank you all again. And yeah, please like, subscribe, check out my videos if you want. Check out my music on Apple and all the big platforms. Anybody can do it now, even me, even you. Put your music out there, critique it and make some. Put it out. Why not? Do your best. Keep growing. Be experimental. Do it on your own. Nobody wanted JPEG Mafia's raps. They thought it was insane. They couldn't rap to his beats. They couldn't understand his beats. So he did it himself. Do it yourself too if you have the inkling. Bye for now. How do I get out of here? End stream. Click. Bye.